welcome Akshay to our Know Your Leader series at Sagar, our newsletter. And thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks,
And we would
Priyanka, for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Wonderful. So let me begin by asking you about your professional journey, key milestones that have shaped your career, what motivated you to enter the clean energy business and alternate fuel sector?
Right. So Priyanka, if we go to Greenfuel, I founded Greenfuel in year 2006. Um, I have a story around it. I actually saved money from my Shadi Ka Sagan, right? And started this business. Uh, so that's how Greenfuel was formed. However, there's a history behind it. You see, I worked in the US for a company which did tube fittings, valves, etc., for different fluid system applications. And one of the big applications coming up in the world that time was natural gas as a vehicle. And I was tasked with the responsibility of making our products compliant with natural gas vehicle systems and their standards, particularly ECE R110 and ISO 15500. So it gave me a lot of knowledge and exposure towards how proper designed natural gas vehicle systems should be from a safety perspective and usability from as friendly as a normal fuel. And these global standards took a lot of safety, validation, etc., but also told me how important design of the component is. And when I got into that sector, as you mentioned, clean mobility, when I came back to India, it was already there, and we were doing CNG systems because we started in 2000 with a Supreme Court mandate. But the way we were doing it was not very holistic, and there was a huge gap between what the world was doing versus what we were doing in India. And I saw an opportunity in trying to bridge that gap by having products which are international standard quality but suited to Indian requirements. Um, and I've always been a fan of clean mobility, actually, and gas and high pressure systems. So I think, this was my calling.
Wonderful to hear how you began your journey. If you could also take us through the 2 decades of Green Fuel's existence and highlight some milestones that you're really proud of.
Yeah, I think so. I always say I got married, and this year is my 20th anniversary, and it's also the 20th year of Green Fuel. All right. So, the 2 decades, I mean, it's been an amazing journey, both ups and downs, but I think the start of it was the opportunity we got from two companies actually at that time, JCBL and Tata Motors. And you see, what was happening was that in India, the Commonwealth Games were happening in 2010. And for the first time, there was a specification for low floor buses in India running on CNG. And they had put in a condition of 12 years warranty, how many kilometers per fill, etc., etc. And this required specialized designing of the entire system. And when we presented our design versus when they got from international consultants, so our designs were almost one-fifth the price with the similar performance, right? And that's how we started our journey with the low floor buses that you see in Delhi, the green, red, orange, and they're as old as our company, still running. And so we say billions and billions of kilometers on CNG systems, as you know, public transport, right? And that was the start and beginning of our journey. So we owe a lot to both JCBL and Tata Motors for giving us that opportunity. So from there, then of course Maruti Suzuki. Then we did Tata Motors project Xenon for Thailand. We supplied our products which were running in Thailand, CNG, and of course then Maruti came along, which was another what I call as a leap in our learning journey, right? And so on and so forth, from then on. But I think what I can proudly say is that we have an experience which spans buses, trucks, passenger cars, small commercial vehicles, medium and heavy commercial vehicles. No company in India doing gas as a fuel does this. And we are specialists in high pressure systems, which means the entire fuel system, where the fuel is filled, to how it's transported all the way to the engine, the valves, the tubes, the filling system, etc. And this is a critical safety part. So I'm proud that not a single vehicle in the last 20 years running on CNG systems of green fuel have ever had a problem which is safety related. That for me speaks volumes of what we do. And I think that's why we have survived in this business. So I'm very proud of the fact that we span across, that we supply product and designs which are just fail safe. You know, it's not only always about being cheap. I think it's about being cost effective. And there's a huge difference. It's about how long a product lasts in the vehicle, right? So cost of ownership. And in our safety critical systems, particularly with gas, that's a very, very important aspect and something we take very seriously at Greenfield. Of course, then we've had several highlights in the journey, right? As I said, we are the only company who's done billions of kilometers. And there's no other company whose systems, high pressure systems, have been on the road longer, for example, right? We supply for infrastructure, we supply this. What I'm also proud is because of our learnings in CNG, we were so easily and seamlessly able to do 35 trucks on hydrogen. So hydrogen is 350 bar and a smaller molecule and more flammable than natural gas, right? We're very seamlessly, and our first truck has already covered more than 100,000 kilometers on Indian roads. Okay. Um, so we do that. So I think, and of course, we do LNG as well. And I believe LNG is going to become a significant fuel as we go forward, especially in long haul truckage. I think from a mission to decarbonize transport, we are getting there, you know?
Small steps, but taking us there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no, incredible, incredible to hear that the 20-year journey, billions of kilometers covered, and not a single incident of safety. That's truly commendable.
Yeah.
So moving on, now that you're part of the Lumax Group ecosystem also, how does the working together of the two companies accelerate this whole transition towards um, um, clean mobility?
Right. So, excellent question, actually, Priyanka, and several times discussed between me and the board members. I think what's important is that after you reach a certain stage, right, uh, to scale to the next level, you need certain level of governance. You need a little more processes and systems, and I would also say a mindset, a mindset shift. Um, Apart from that, I think we are so synergetic in what we do from a automotive ecosystem perspective. So I think we can really unlock value for both the companies by using, our common platforms, our common customers, and giving them more value through a single entity, number one. And I think number two, what Lumax brings to us is the ability to, scale in a sustainable way. So there are some governance processes, there are processes, systems, and it's always good to have a big brother to rely on where you need to fill the gaps. And yet we are a completely independent entity, taking our independent decisions, growing, and I think I give a lot of credit to the Lumax management for recognizing that in our business, continuous innovation as unlocking of value is important, and therefore not saddling us with the entire bureaucracy, which would come with a large organization, right? So I think synergetically we can unlock value, and the governance and processes and gaps that we can fill to scale sustainability are great from our partnership perspective. So it's a win-win.
Great, great. Yes, we do see the synergies in how you're driving and how the Lumax management is contributing to build that scale.
Yeah.
Um, if you would throw some light on the strategic priorities and growth opportunities over the next couple of years, and for Green Fuel that has emerged as a tier one supplier of clean mobility, and what are the factors that differentiate you from your competitors?
Yeah.
Safety, I see, is one of them, but
Yeah.
other than that, yeah.
No, I think so, Priyanka, a lot of so as I said, we are across the spectrum, which means we do commercial vehicles, which is trucks, buses, etc., as well as passenger vehicles, right? And in this, I think the learning for us and what separates us is the ability to do a lot of firsts. So I tell you, the NGV filling valve, which where you fill gas seamlessly at this thing, was not the standard when we started in India. We brought it in. Okay. Second was, and I'm proud of it, we had these automatic cylinder valves on the cylinder, which basically, when your vehicle is switched off, your gas is in the tank where it should be and not in the fuel line. That concept and the first valve that was certified was done by Greenfuel. Okay. So, the first low floor bus system design with complete, and I can go on and on, right? But I think what is important is to understand that we have design capability, we have manufacturing capability, we have application capability, and we have taken a lot of the learnings from the world and localized it for Indian conditions in a lot of these cases, right? So what has that enabled? That, I don't know if you remember, Priyanka, but pre 2007, there used to be headlines which used to say CNG indhan nahi barood hai and all of that, right? You don't hear that anymore, right? And I think I give a lot of credit to OEMs like Maruti Suzuki and even Tata Motors, who then came into the business, took that learning and said, okay, we do need a price point, but we will not compromise on the safety and quality. And I think we were able to fill that gap. So I think today, when a customer comes to us, we can provide him an end-to-end solution, which is validated, which is local, right? And which is designed for, zero failure. So I think that trust and that credibility and that comfort is what we can offer, which others cannot. They are totally dependent on their partners. They don't have any design capability. They don't have support for the application capability in India. So, one of our values is that knowledge makes us fearless. What it means is the ability to suggest the right thing to the customer, right? Even if it's a difficult proposition in the beginning, right? So, if you have knowledge, you cannot not guide the customer to do the right thing. So I think that really separates what Green Fuel is all about. And of course, our value of keeping customer first, which aligns very well with the Lumax value, right? We've always shown agility, um, fast responses, understood their pain and come to the need when they needed us. So I think, yeah, that's a real tier one mindset, right?
Oh, that's it's good to hear. And yeah, it's what stays with me is knowledge makes us fearless is yes. If you have the understanding, knowledge, and the confidence, I think even the customers hear you out and are
Yeah,
willing to take that chance.
yeah.
So you've answered three of my questions at one go. Thank you for that.
Okay, okay.
As a managing director, how do you strike a balance between long-term strategic decision, fostering innovation? Because innovation is, I think, at the heart of green fuel,
Yeah.
and agility that you spoke about just now, and talent development in the organization. How do you build the whole ecosystem there?
Yeah, so I think again, Priyanka, it's such an important question and goes back to leadership, right? Um, Something that's not mentioned here, but I think what's important is I have this philosophy which I took from Vedanta, which was the three P's, right? I talk about passion, I talk about perseverance, and then I say patience, okay, to let those things happen. And I think what you just spoke about is subsets, and all of them go parallel. First of all, you're absolutely right that innovation is at the core. I mean, we have developed a product which we patented in India, and now we export back to our German technology partners, right? Very few can um, say that. So that is the capability and knowledge that we have a product developed, designed, manufactured, and then exported to the world, right? So, but we also see innovation as a value unlocker for our customers. You see, it's you can't just bring a product or a process or a system and just import it and plug it in. There has to be sensibility around what the Indian environment needs, and I think that we do very, very well, right? So, coming back to that question, as a managing director, I always say once the three P's are in place, we talk about people development, first of all, where that passion shows. If you talk to any Greenfuel employee, they're passionate about what they do because they understand the larger purpose, right? And my long-term goal is very clear to have, you can only make an impact if you have the largest number of products installed on the largest number of vehicles, right? And that's my real goal, right? So now you can break it down into market share, into business, into all of that. But if you want to make an impact, you need to have the ability to make alternate fuels, you know, just another fuel. It can't be alternate, okay? Right? And I think that's where when we continuously innovate, we try and bring product and systems which help those customers and help make these vehicles as friendly as anything else, right? So innovate, and all our people recognize that, and that is like a daily process at Greenfield. Innovation. We put our products out. We say, what can we do better? What can change? What can we challenge, which is being done before, right? So that I have kind of made into a habit. Okay. The second thing is the long-term goals are very well communicated from top to bottom. Everybody at Greenfield knows what we want to do and why we want to do it, right? Um, and everybody's aligned to it. And therefore, the talk around innovation, the talk around this is all aligned, right? And people development, as I said, we already have a Thrive program going on for the next generation leaders because we spoke about mindset change for scale, right? And that's extremely important. Agility is something that is embedded in our DNA. Um, I do not come from the automotive sector. I'm a first generation entrepreneur. So to break through the shackles, I'll use the word, we had to do a lot of groundwork, right? And a lot of effort in getting there. And I think all the people who've grown with us, and, I'm proud to say that in a 20-year journey, we have employees, at least two who are 20 years with us, 18, 15, that range is the highest range of employees. And they've all seen this response to the customer. That separated us from the larger groups and therefore gave the confidence to the customer. So I think agility and innovation are embedded in our DNA, and it is something, that flows as a habit from top to bottom, right? And long-term goals very clear, maximum market share with the safest, reliable products, give customers the satisfaction that they're not driving just an alternate fuel vehicle, but a normal fuel vehicle. And the more we do that, the more we will sell and more impact we will make.
You know, it's quite impactful what you've spoken about. The three P's, of course. and
Yeah,
how it trickles down from the top and to the last person on ground speaks the same language and
yeah,
understands the goals effectively. Uh,
yeah.
and
That's
and
culture, right?
hmm,
We
hmm,
talk about culture. I think culture comes from the top, right?
true, true, true.
One of the things which was interesting, that we just inaugurated a line, right, Priyanka? The
Yes,
the
yes,
tube fitting
yes.
line, first time
Yeah,
fully localized in India.
yeah.
The Germans who gave us the core technology said one thing, that the line in India is much better than the line in Germany,
Oh.
right? So it just goes to show that, that capability of going that extra mile to understand that Indian mindset. And, we are doing better. I think, and now I believe the time has come for an Indian brand to capture the export market in CNG. The CNG kit market is worth $900 million worldwide.
Oh, that's
Right.
huge.
Yeah. And it's dominated by the few Italian groups too, and then the Chinese non-branded. I think
Okay.
with our India represents the opportunity to have an OEM level product in the aftermarket, and the scale gives us the ability to get better price points and better quality products out there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So I see that as a huge opportunity, the export part.
So we've almost reached the last question.
Hmm.
And would you have a message to share with the emerging leaders, the young professionals within the Lumax group at Greenfuel, a parting message for them?
Yeah, so I think if you truly want to be successful as a leader, first of all, leaders develop other leaders. All right. I think you don't have to have insecurity of your job, and it's not a job. You have to have a purpose, right? So, what you're doing, if you understand the impact, you will understand that you need to take ownership, accountability, right? And come in with a purpose, right? And develop other people. If you can do that, success will automatically follow you. I think the a lot of people, when they start out, they want to chase success first and forget what it takes to get there, right? I think it's that same thing from the Gita, right? Karam kiye ja phal ki chinta mat. The phal will come, right? Because when you do this. So I think please learn to take ownership, accountability, do your whatever you're tasked with passion and purpose. Uh, and the more experience you have horizontally, the better when you go up, you will be able to switch from a mindset of doing to getting done. And that's what leadership is all about, right?
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So
Not at
the
all.
the key takeaways, purpose, passion, ownership, and accountability for the youth of today, so
Hmm.
that they can drive their careers and lead organizations in the future.
Right.
Thank you so much, Akshay, for sharing your views and sharing about green fuel. It's been an eye-opening conversation with you for me.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
not
Thanks
at
a lot,
all.
Priyanka. Have a
Thank
great day.
you. You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks.